when we penned the criteria for some of the awards, Golden Gable in particular. While rewards and recognition are considered as a motivation factor for clubs and the club members, it should only be a byproduct of the club quality and the member engagement. If somebody is going to ask me my opinion, I would certainly say that clubs should operate only for members and not for the sake of achieving records or rewards. When a club exhibits utmost quality, the awards would automatically be achieved. In short, the awards, particularly the Golden Gable, I personally consider should not be low-hanging fruit, but there should be some good deal of effort put in to achieve it. And that's precisely why we decided to tweak the submission criteria so that the clubs who have been achieving it consistently year on year will have stretch goals, and clubs striving to get the Golden Gable will ensure that there is quality in their meetings. When there is quality in the meetings, there's certainly going to be member engagement. When there is member engagement, there will definitely be member retention and the new member addition to the clubs. And each club can in turn participate in the Distinguished Club program and eventually become distinguished and beyond. Apart from, we are going to be seeing the Golden Gable submission criteria and the various tweaks that we have included in it. Apart from that, if you all have seen the District Awards document, you could notice a visible change in new awards which have been included, particularly to motivate individual members. When I say new awards for members, not for the club. New awards for the members have been included. And obviously, we've also included a deal of new awards for the club to infuse the engagement portion. So this awards document has been reviewed with the division directors and the area directors, and we've got a buy-in. And I'm sure you all would have got this document and would have reviewed it. I would certainly love to have this session interactive. But before we get on to the Q&A, let me give a brief snapshot on what the district awards are, different district awards are, and some of the criteria for that. So with that, I will go ahead and share my screen. Please do let me know if you're able to.
Srinath, in the meantime, can you check your volume? Members are saying it is a little bit low. Can you just move close to your mic?
Sure.
Or if you have a headset, you can use that. That would be better.
Certainly. Is my audio better now?
Loud and clear.
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
All right. So before we get on to see the various district awards that we have, let me give a insight into what was the status for the Golden Gable awards for 2019 and 20, which is for the previous term. So the number of clubs which have achieved Golden Gable the past term, it is 44 clubs have achieved Golden Gable. Clubs which have achieved 100 points and above in club quality and club engagement, it's 46. And clubs which are distinguished and above but not active in Golden Gable program is 43. So which means that either these clubs are primarily focusing only on the members and not I mean, either they are not wary about the awards, but one of the precise reasons why we wanted to have this session is to bring in this awareness to all the clubs that we do have something called as district awards, and which can definitely motivate individuals and clubs to perform better than what they are doing currently. And moving on, so some of the member awards we have, I mean, we've written lots of awards from the previous term. Obviously, there's excellence in education, excellence in leadership. These are some of the awards which we've written from the past term. So I don't want to kind of delve deep into it because, as I said, I would want this to be more of an interactive session where you can ask questions and I can help in clarifying some of these questions. Just to run through some of these awards, excellence in education is given to all club members who file education awards. So let's say, for example, you complete level 1 and file an education award, you're going to be given a certificate and a ribbon. So all these education awards are going to be given in the division stage. So which means when you have your semi-annual contest or your annual conference, you would be given this, and the first submission cutoff would be October. Folks who complete their various levels in pathways and file for an education award would be entitled to get a certificate and a ribbon in the division stage. And excellence in leadership is more is a recommendation which would basically come from the area director for a member who exhibits utmost leadership, who is able to contribute to the vision or the mission of the area, mission of the division, mission of the district, right? So this is a recommendation which would be given by the area director, and this would again be given during the division in the division stage. So we have excellence in club building, which is given to club coaches. So if somebody is interested in building a club, a sick club, a club which has been suspended, a club which has been struggling for membership, please do reach out to your area director or division director. They can help you in tagging to a club which has been really struggling. And if you are able to revive the club and bring it to 20 members and help the club achieve DCP 7 and beyond, you're going to be given this award. So Distinguished Toastmaster is something which you're all aware. That's a pinnacle award in Toastmasters. And this time we have introduced 2 new pathways, and obviously we've seen the sunset of the legacy Compete and Communicator and its advanced communication series and the Compete and Leader series. So it's going to be only pathways from now on. So we have got 2 pathways awards. One is the Pathways Celebrity Award, and the other one is the Pathways Champion Award. So what is Celebrity Award and what is Champion Award? An individual who starts a path in this term and completes it before April 25th is entitled to get the Pathways Celebrity Award. Someone maybe in mid of a path, they would have started the path in the past term, and let's say they are in the 4th level or the 5th level, and they happen to complete that path, pay additional $20, pick up another path and complete that as well. They're going to be given this Pathways Champion Award. Next is Excellence in Execution.
see, over the past, the VPs are the ones who literally struggle, be it in conducting meetings, identifying role players, identifying speakers, and running a quality meeting. And then they've been the unsung heroes of the club. So we wanted to give due credit to VPs. When I say VPs, VPs of both the terms. Particularly for the semi-annual clubs, where they conduct elections twice in a Toastmasters year. Both the VPs would be recognized, and the criteria is going to be very simple. 60% of unique members should complete any level in Pathways. So, which means when you have a membership base of 20. The expectation is 12 members completing various levels in Pathways, 12 unique members completing various levels in Pathways. So for example, if your club is having 12 members completing level 1 in Pathways, the VP tends to get this excellence in education. So this is a new award which has been introduced this year. So VPs, if you're here, go for it. And moving on, we do have a plethora of awards, particularly for the area directors and division directors, and I'm sure they have been praised well on this. And I'm not covering that because this is more for the members out here, and particularly the ExCom who are pursuing this district awards. Excellence in Training, which is a club award, is given to clubs where all 7 club officers are getting trained in the OTP. So now the OTP is currently underway, and we have the last of OTP, which is going to happen over this weekend. If there are any clubs who have not had all 7 club officers trained, this is one last opportunity for you to ask them to register for this, and obviously they'll have to stay throughout the training, and your club tends to get this excellence in training. And again, this is given for both the terms. So whenever the 2 OTPs happens, you'll have to ensure that all 7 are getting trained. Toastmasters International says that 4 of the club officers is sufficient to get trained to get that 1 point in the Distinguished Club program. But obviously, it would always be better if all 7 club officers get trained to ensure that the club operates with greater quality. And the other award is the 880 award. This is also given for, this is ideally, though we call it as a club award, this is more of a VP membership award. Again, this is given for both the payment cycles. So you have the payment cycle, the new term, payment term starts from 1st of October. So, and you are expected, the clubs are expected to complete the renewals before September 30th. So the criteria is going to be simple. So 8 new dual or reinstated members to be added, and 80% of your club members should be retained. So it's going to be very simple. So all you have to do is add 8 members, retain 80 members, and the VPM gets this 880 award, and this is applicable for both the terms. A triple star award is given to clubs. You all know that in a Toastmasters calendar year, we have 3 membership campaigns, which is Smedley Award, the Talk of Toastmasters, and the Be the Club Award. Clubs which pursues and gets all these three ribbons, Smedley, Talk of Toastmasters, and Beat the Clock. So which means that you'll have to add 5 members. It could be new members, it could be dual, or it could be reinstated members. And if you could add 5 members during these membership campaign, and if you're able to achieve all 3, your club is entitled for the triple star award. So beyond boundaries, it's going to be very simple. So the top 3 clubs in the district who has the highest number of new, dual, or reinstated members. So if it could be a corporate club, it could be a community club. So the clubs who adds the maximum number of members are entitled for beyond boundaries. So the next is Phoenix and the Rising Star Award. So this Phoenix is given to clubs which has not achieved distinguished club status in the past term. So when I say distinguished club status, DCP points 5, less than 5 are eligible to participate, and the expectation is by the end of the term they'll have to get to DCP 7 and beyond. So which means that the club should be a select distinguished club. Say for example, the club which has been which did not achieve the distinguished status in the past term, they go and achieve Golden Gavel or the Silver Eagle, which we will cover it subsequently. Then Phoenix Award will not be given to them, because they've achieved something above than what is expected. So Rising Star Award is given to clubs which have been chartered on or after 1st April 2020. The names of the clubs have been given, and in the appendix section of the document, you can have a look at it. So those clubs, if they can maintain DCP 5 and beyond and a base of 20 members, would be eligible for this Rising Star Award. And again, on the Phoenix Award, there is an important criteria. So let's say, for example, a club has maintained a base of 30 members as on 30th June, but they were not able to get to this distinguished status. For getting the Phoenix Award, they should maintain the base. It's not like you achieve select distinguished, but you get you maintain 20 members. So you'll have to maintain the base as on the last term, as on 30th June, to be eligible for the Phoenix Award. And the next one is an interesting award, which is called the Samaritan Club Award, which we've introduced at new. And this is applicable for President's Distinguished Clubs. So when I mentioned about 44 clubs which have got Golden Gavel, there were another 30 plus clubs which got President's Distinguished but did not pursue Golden Gavel. So these are the clubs, if they can help the ineligible clubs or the suspended clubs in conducting the weekly meetings, and help the ineligible or the suspended clubs to get to 20 members, and also help the club in achieving a distinguished status by 30th April, the club which has helped the ineligible or suspended club to achieve this distinguished status would be given the Samaritan Club Award. So what are the clubs that are eligible? So all President's Distinguished Clubs in the past term are eligible, and the mapping of the President's Distinguished Clubs to this ineligible or the suspended clubs would be done by the division director, and would be finalized by August 15th. So if there are any President's Distinguished Clubs from the past term attending this meeting, please do get in touch with your area director or division director and express your interest in helping some of these ineligible clubs, because so Toastmasters is all about helping one another, and presents a great opportunity for you to help an ineligible or a suspended club to become one of the quality clubs in the district. And you have the platinum and gold award. This is newly introduced to this term. Clubs with a member base of 20 or less, when they get to 25 members by 30th April and achieve 5 DCP points, which is when they achieve the distinguished club status, they get this platinum club award. See, the expectation out here is the membership growth. So if the club is able to get to 25 members, it could be the base could be 20, the base could be 15, but the expectation is if they are able to get to 25 members and achieve 5 DCP points and beyond, they are awarded this platinum club award. And again, gold club is an extension to that. Just that a club with a membership base of less than 25, say it could be 21, 22, but if they get to a membership base of 25 and achieve 7 DCP points, they are eligible for the Gold Club Award. So the motive over here is ensuring that the clubs have a membership growth. So I'll pause here for a while and see if you have any questions before we move on to the Golden Gavel or the Silver Eagle criteria.
So I'm relatively, this is Sai here from Emerging Leaders Toastmasters Club. I am relatively new to Toastmasters. Do you find these details in any manual? Because it will be easier for me to process if I read and make notes rather than listening.
Yes, Sai, the details have been circulated to the area director and the division director.
Okay, great.
That should have been passed on to the Club ExCom.
Okay.
Additionally, this is also going to be made available in the District 120 website.
Oh,
so I'm not sure whether it is available readily or not. When the PR team, when I checked with them today, they said they're going to be making it available by end of day. So
okay.
Please do check the District 120 website for the information. It's a comprehensive document and it has all micro level information that you're looking out for.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so very much.
Hello, Srinath. This is Arun from L&T ECC Toastmasters Club. I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
First one is regarding this excellence in training for the VPEs.
Yep.
That says 60% of the members should have completed any level, correct? So 60% is calculated.
Unique members.
Okay, unique members.
So which means a club which is having 20 members, if 12 members file for education awards, which means they complete any level in pathways and the information is approved in the base camp and also uploaded into Club Central, then the VPE is eligible. The VPEs are eligible for the excellence in execution.
Yes, understood. So the 60% is calculated based on the base strength or the strength on April 25th?
It is based on the base strength. But again, see, one of the criterias out here is the club should have a minimum of 20 members. So as by April 25th of 2021.
Okay, actually I was concerned of the other side, like start off with 20 and we end up with 30 people. So I should target for 12 or should I target for 18?
So it is the base of the base which is available on 30th of June 2020.
Okay. And one more on Golden Gavel. There is this...
Can you park that question for a while? Because we are yet to get into the Golden Gavel criteria. We will, I'll take your question after we've gone through the Golden Gavel criteria.
Okay, okay.
Good evening, Srinath. This is Sugita from Elite Communicators Club. I have another question regarding the excellence in training. As you said, the VP is eligible for this. What if a member is already completed three, to complete a level, for example, 3 speech is mandatory. If a member completes already 2 speeches, will they complete the 3rd speech after this term? Will they be eligible for this award?
Yeah, they're eligible because you're filing that award in this term, right? So that particular education award is considered for this term, the current term. So which means that is very much available, eligible.
Okay, and another question. This is eligible. This will be eligible for this award only if both the VPs achieve 60%, right?
See, yeah.
In both the terms.
See, the thing is, in the first term, the first VP could help in achieving, let's say, 6 members. I'm keeping an example of a 20 members club. The first term, the VP could help in filing 6 education awards for 6 unique members. And the second term, the VPE could help in filing 6 more unique members education awards. So altogether it is 12, which constitutes 60% of the eligible criteria. So which means that both the VPs would be eligible. See, it's a pure math. In the first term, the VP could facilitate only one member to complete an level. And in the second term, the VP could help in completing 11 members who can file for various levels and pathways. But altogether, it constitutes 60%, right? Which is also possible. So, but the expectation is the VP who starts the term sets the tone so that the second VP, the successor, could carry on the momentum which the first VP has set.
Srinath, Sharif here from Chennai Phoenix.
Yes, Sharif.
One question about new Pathways Awards. Is it that pathway celebrity is like a person who starts pathway in this term and completes in this term, pathway celebrity, or person who has already started the pathway in last term and completes pathway in this term is also considered as pathway?
No, a member who starts a path on July 1st and completes it by the cutoff date that we have given is eligible for achieving the pathway celebrity. So let's say, for example, there's someone who is midway into a path, goes on to complete the path and completes one more path, would be eligible for a Pathways Champion Award.
Srinath, this is Bharat here.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi. So this is the same doubt which Sharif has asked. So if a member has completed a path, one full path, and also he is like in midst of completing one other path, he is eligible for both the awards, or he is eligible for only one award?
Only one.
Only one. So champion is what he'll get. He'll not be eligible for...
Say, for example, an individual who starts a path this term, completes it, and picks up another path and completes that as well, would be eligible for both. But that's going to be highly unlikely, right? Where you expect an individual to give 40 plus speeches. I mean, there's a possibility, if somebody is very organized and gives speech week on week, can definitely achieve it. But that's going to be unlikely, considering the fact that the VP will have to give equal opportunities to various individuals in the club.
True. Okay. So
hi,
that's
Srinath.
answer my question.
This is Kundavi.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a doubt. Suppose there is a dual member and giving speeches on both clubs. So where does this credit go? Is there any strict rules on that?
Right. The member has to choose to which club the education award credit goes. The credit cannot be shared between two clubs.
Like one level in one club, the other level in other club, is that possible?
One level in one club, which should be possible. Yes, I think that's possible. Yeah, I can probably check and come back, ma'am. That's a tricky question, but then I'll have to check.
Srinath, I can just clarify on that. Vaishali here. Yeah, Kundavi, that's possible because we do have options in Basecamp Manager to select different clubs, and we can file one award in one club, then the other in the next club. So that is perfectly possible.
Thank you, Vaishali, and thank you, Srinath. One more question.
Yeah.
Successful club series and visiting Toastmasters can be combined there.
Yes, that can be combined. Yeah. Say, for example, under successful club series, you have moments of truth, right? As an area director, somebody can go to a club and take the credit of visiting Toastmaster and also conduct the successful club series, which is Moments of Growth. That's possible. It's allowed.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Srinath, one last question for this OTP, attending OTP, all 7. Is there a place where we can actually check if the attendance is properly recorded? I know this is Zoom, but still, is there a place where
you will have to check with your area director? The attendance which is given by your division directors and area directors is going to be considered. If somebody's name is not there, either they have not registered properly or they have not renamed themselves properly. Once the list is published, you will get to know that the individual clubs will get to know whether they have got all 7 members attending, whose attendance has been taken into consideration or not. So, you'll have to wait for it. And I and my team strictly go based on the attendance which has been given by the division directors.
Srinath, this is Ramesh here from
yes, Ramesh.
Just one clarification. Could you please explain the criteria for Excellence in Leadership Award? Please.
Okay, Excellence in Leadership, as I said, that's an award which is going to be given during the division stage. This is going to be presented. Only one individual per area is going to be selected, and who is able to contribute towards or who is going to contribute in helping the area, the division, and the district to achieve its mission. And very importantly, the person who's going to be getting this award cannot be a club officer. So which means all 7 club officers are not eligible to get it, because you are already exhibiting a leadership role in your club. The district officers or the district extended team are not eligible to receive this award.
Okay, thank you very much.
Srinath, how this would be measured? Can you clarify? Like it says.
Okay, so this is these are parameters which are set by your area director. You may get in touch with your area director, and who can help you in clarifying. Because each area directors might be setting various parameters for measuring how this is being how the contribution is coming from specific individuals.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So I do see a question. Do we have any awards for the mentors? Yes, that's from Gokul, area director Gokul. Yes, there is an award, Excellence in Club Building, which is given to all club mentors and club coaches. Okay, and I see Nitya raising a hand. Nitya, do you have a question? Okay, and let me also see if there are any other questions from others. Fatima has asked, if I complete level 1 last year and finish the path this year, do I still have a chance to get excellence in education provided I complete? No, that is not possible. I think you're referring to the Pathways Celebrity or the Pathways Champion Award. So that is not allowed. You will have to pick up a path in this term and complete it in this term to be eligible for getting this Pathways Celebrity Award. For Pathways Champion, you can complete the residual path and then move on. And if you complete one more path, you are eligible for the Pathways Champion. Okay, Triple Crown Awards. Yes, I will come to that. But in the interest of time, we are at 7:40. Let's quickly move on to the Golden Gavel criteria. All right, so Golden Gable criteria, as you all know, from the last year, it has two components: the club quality avenue and the club engagement avenue. When a club achieves 170 or more points in total, when I say total, both combining club quality and club engagement avenue, then the club is going to be presented with the Golden Gable award, for which a minimum of 85 points should be available in club quality avenue. And more importantly, the club should be a president's distinguished club. So that was the criteria last term. Additionally, what we have included this term is the club should have one Triple Crown Award winner by before April 30th, and 60% of club members should have filed for an education award. So when I say Triple Crown Award, it could be an individual who goes about and completes level 1, level 2, level 3, or level 3, level 4, level 5. So that's going to be considered as a Triple Crown Award over here. And more importantly, as I said, 60% of the club members should have filed for an education award. And that education award does not include High Performance Leadership Award or the DTM award. Okay. Another important criteria is all the members who have filed for education award should continue as members as on the cutoff date for being eligible for Golden Gable. Say, for example, out of 20 members, 12 members have filed for education award. There is a Triple Crown award winner. The club has become a president's distinguished, and you have the required 170 points. But on 30th of April, if there are only 11 members available out of the 12 who have filed for an education award, then the club is not eligible for the Golden Gable. So it is for you as a club who will have to ensure that your members are retained, the members are thoroughly engaged, and for that, run quality meetings, which means that it takes care of the member engagement and the member retention. Okay, so moving on, what are the criteria for club quality? DCP goals. As you all know, there are 10 DCP goals. Each DCP goal carries 3 points, so altogether 30 points. So preparation of additional educational goals, which is 10, I'll come to that, what it means. Club success plan. I'm sure all the area directors would have reached out to your respective clubs to fill in the club success plan. The club success plan, which the area director would have asked you to fill, would be that 17-pager PDF file. But what is required over here is the tracker, the Excel tracker, where you're going to be mentioning these are the list of individuals who are going to complete various levels, and this is the plan of action for adding 4 members. What is the plan of action for achieving your training goals and admin goals? That's something which you're going to be putting in that tracker and sending it across. And the next one is the presentation from the successful club better speaker in the leadership excellence series. You can have an individual, it could be a member of your club, a senior member from your club who could present it, or it could be a visiting Toastmaster who could be presenting this. So that's something which is available for that. It carries 6 points. Joint club meetings, it's we've tweaked in some criteria out here. Last year it was only 2 joint club meetings. Since we are doing most of the meetings virtually, we have increased the joint club meetings to 4, just to ensure that the clubs, various clubs, can interact amongst one another and get to know about the best practices. So we have themed club meetings, we have outdoor meetings, ExCom meetings. For a club to exhibit utmost quality, it is important that all the executive committee meeting are in sync. They'll have to be meeting periodically. We ask for every quarterly, but it is recommended that they meet every fortnight or every month to check out a plan for the club and how to keep the club engaged. So then we have visiting Toastmasters, where we expect one visiting Toastmaster per quarter. So altogether, 4 visiting toast, 4 points for the entire term. Area director visit report and quality check. This is something which is going to be very important. The area director will have to be visiting your respective clubs and doing a quality check and submit the report. So this time we are empowering the presidents of each club to follow up with the area director to ensure that they have submitted the quality check report, because last year there were lots of issues where the area director has not submitted the quality check report, and the clubs started claiming that they are losing this valuable points. So this time around, while we've instructed the area directors that they will have to submit the quality check report, we are also empowering the presidents to follow up with the area directors to ensure that they are the area directors are submitting the quality check report on time. And coming to this additional goals, see, the points that is allocated is 10 points, which is 2 points per member. So which means that a maximum of 5 members need to complete any 5 projects individually in pathways. So for example, a club submitted 5 level 1 projects. See, what is the criteria for one of the education goals? It says 4 level 1 projects. If you complete, you are entitled for 1 DCP point. So for example, apart from the 4, you have 5 more people who have completed level 1. So you really don't take credit towards any DCP point. So that can be given over here and get the credit for this additional goals. All right, so I'll move on. We'll complete this club engagement avenue, and then we will take up questions. So as far as the club engagement avenue goes, moments of truth, this is something which is very, very important for every club to conduct, to understand the reality, where the club really stands in terms of quality, in terms of membership, in terms of how members are being, guests are being welcomed, right? So this can be conducted by a senior Toastmaster, or it can be conducted by the area director. And it is always recommended that it is conducted, obviously you have a cutoff date for that. So once the new term starts, it is better that you conduct this moments of truth and submit it at the earliest. So you have membership renewals. You have 2 renewal cycles. Each renewal cycle carries 5 points. On-time renewals. When I say renewals, on-time renewals. And apart from on-time renewals, if you are able to add 5 more new members, you get additional 5 bonus points, so which accounts to 20 points. Membership building awards, as I said earlier, you have 3 membership building programs, which is Medley, Talk Up Toastmaster, and Beat the Clock. And if you're able to add members, 5 members each during each of the membership building program, you get 3 points for each of those. Officers training program, this is a low hanging fruit. If you're going to be attending, all 7 club officers attend the officers training program, you get 7 plus 3 points, which is 3 bonus points, which accounts to 10 points per officer training program. So let's say, for example, there is only 6 club officers are getting trained, the club gets only 6 points. Newsletter, 3 points. Attending TLI programs, there are various TLI programs which are being conducted, but there are a select TLI programs for which the points are going to be given. So not all TLI programs would be given points. So for example, if you are attending this session, it doesn't guarantee that your club is given points. I'll let you know what those TLI programs are. Attending judges training program, you are going to be having the contest season coming in. You'll have the judges training program being conducted, for which 5 points per each JTP. Division conferences, this is to encourage more participation from clubs for attending these division conferences. Again, there are two conferences coming in, 4 points each. So division council meetings, which normally are being conducted before the division conference or the division contest by the district director, by the district trio. So that accounts for 6 points. Then the district council meeting, we have one coming up on September 6th, if I'm not wrong, for which the attendance from the president and the VP is mandatory. So 2 points per member who is going to be attending. So altogether, there's going to be 4 points. No proxies allowed over here. And the last criteria which we've included, which we've newly included this time around, is club officer elections and upload of club officers list on time. So there are lots of clubs who don't conduct elections. You know, they select club officers rather than electing club officers. So we, as a district, we wanted to inculcate the habit of electing club officers. Even if there are no nominations, there's just one nomination per club officer, not a problem. Do conduct an election and upload the club officers list on time. So which 99% of clubs in the district have done it much before June 30th. So kudos towards, you know, you've already achieved a half point towards the admin goal in the distinguished club program. So I think we've come to an end of this. I'm happy to take questions over here, particularly when it comes to the submission criteria of joint club meetings, team club meetings, and we've included lots of new criteria. I'm more than happy to take questions.
Again, Arun here, one question on the additional goals, additional educational goals.
Yes.
So if I'll just say what I understood. So for DCP, if 4 people complete my level 1, I get 1 point in DCP, which is 3 points in Golden Gable. But for next 5 members, if they complete level 1, I get 2 points per member, which is 10 points. So for the first 4 members completing, I get only 3 points, but for the next 5 members, I get 10 points. Is that right?
Right. See, the thing is, for DCP, I mean, don't look at the 3 points in this DCP goals. So that DCP goals out of 10 into 3 is 30. That's a different aspect. So for attaining that one educational goal, you are expected to have a mandatory 4 members completing level 1. Right. So for example, in a club of 20, there can be a possibility of more members completing level 1. Say for example, this is an example which I've given here. So 4 have completed level 1 and you've got that 1 DCP point. Now you have additional 5 members who are completing level 1. So that is not getting accounted anywhere. So what we are saying is include it over here and get those additional educational points towards Golden Gable.
Okay.
Again, it need not be level 1. You know, it can be level 2. It can be level 3. For example, for you're expected 4 members to complete level 2. So which is 2 level 2 and 2 more level 2, right? So you have another 3 people who have completed level 2, and you have 2 people additionally completing level 1. So 2 plus 3, 5. Submit it over here and get the 10 points.
Srinath, a quick question. Thomas here. Hi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I have 2 questions. First part is this. First part is, you know, Toastmasters is distinct for making it self-disciplined, self-paced. And there is no coercion. We are willing to do as club officials anything that you ask us to do. But when it comes to the, you know, minimum, you know, attendance, there is a clash between that compulsion and the autonomous nature of members, especially in the case of corporate as a community, where these are free radical individuals. There is no you know, no influence. There is no chumminess that you can take liberties and create this. So that's one question. Second, which of this would you make an exception during the lockdown period?
So that's a great question, sir. Again, over here, I completely agree with you that Toastmasters is a self-paced program, and there is no compulsion that you know, you will have to be completing these many levels, to meet the distinguished club program. But ultimately, Toastmasters keeps a benchmark and for measuring the club success, and one of that is this distinguished club program, which is going to be a yardstick for measuring the success of clubs. So as long as the club exhibits quality, when I say quality, what does a quality meeting mean? If you're going to ask me, I would say in a 1 hour's meeting, a quality meeting would be where you have minimum of two prepared speeches. You can easily accommodate 3 prepared speeches, and table topics followed by evaluation. So when in the meeting, when you are going to have 3 prepared speeches, so just imagine what would be the number of prepared speeches which would be given in a Toastmasters year. So when I say, why I say this is because when a club claims that it is a quality club, these are the normal parameters which we expect the clubs to exhibit to stake a claim that it is a quality club. So again, over here, there is no compulsion that you need to be having 3 prepared speeches, which is the case in most of the community clubs. But in corporate clubs, if you see, you don't have 3 prepared speakers. Most of the corporate clubs will be having only 1 prepared speech or maximum of 2 prepared speakers.
Sorry, I think I didn't express myself well. We have 4 speeches. We have 10 TT. The problem is we are not able to enforce the minimum attendance by members of 75%. We are willing to do anything. We bring 2, guest speakers, all that we can do, but we cannot ensure that. That's not how, it works in corporate club. I mean, in a club like this, that's my issue.
Okay. I understand. Well, I think community clubs should not be having this problem of 75% attendance for any meeting. Is that something which you say?
Absolutely, Srinath. Absolutely. We are willing to do anything qualitatively in terms of programs, bringing people, all we can do. But we cannot force people to come. I mean, that's coercion. We can't do that. These are individuals. That's the only issue I have. I'm with you on everything that you say. Second point is, of these restrictions, how much of it can we defer till we come back to normal times?
Okay. See, during this lockdown period, everything is happening virtually. See, my personal opinion is I've been seeing a good attendance across. In fact, in my club, where we always have 50% or less attendance for in-person meetings, we are able to see 70% or 80% of attendance for these virtual meetings. So, and that is purely because individuals have the luxury of taking these meetings from home, and which is primarily the reason why I see a surge in attendance. And the general feedback which I've been hearing from lots of other clubs in my division, particularly, last time when I was a division director, it was towards the fag end of my term, we had this lockdown, and the meetings started going virtually. And what I've been seeing is a good number of attendance, particularly for these virtual meetings. And we've also seen clubs like Chennai Communicators Club adding more members. There's been a surge in member addition also for during this lockdown period. So I think it all boils down. I hear you, where you're saying that particularly for some of the submission criteria for joint meetings or themed meetings, where we are expecting 75% of attendance, it is just 1 meeting per quarter. And if the ExCom is able to influence, obviously, we've all learned the power of influence in Toastmasters. So if they are able to influence members and request them that, if they may not be available for all meetings, but for this special occasion, for this joint meeting or theme meeting, if you could be available, then, we definitely, exhibit, exhibit the goals that as an ExCom, which you would have visualized for your club.
Allow me just 30 seconds. I'll tell you 3 issues we have. I've talked to people. sooner or later you'll come to know that people have problems of connectivity in their hometown, remote hometowns. They're not in Chennai. They will not tell you first. When you probe, this comes out. Secondly, there's a clash for the laptop between children wanting their for education purpose. And no, I'm saying seriously, all this won't come out at the surface. You don't get it. Third, a lot of people are missing out the body language, including some of our top speakers. They're disenchanted with the lack of connection. So therefore, we are falling numbers now. I'm telling you the fact. I leave it to you. This is the reality. Thank you.
Sure, sir. We will. We've discussed it internally with Satish and Praveen, and we did feel that even though the meetings are happening virtually, it definitely gives an opportunity for individuals to learn something or the other. I do agree that it is not the virtual meetings are not like the ones that you give in person, where you have the freedom of expression. Here it is a constrained environment where you are delivering your speech, and it really does not fulfill your objective of being a better public speaker, right? So yes, while these constraints are there, but there is an element of learning which individual gets to gets from these virtual meetings. Yes, fair point. There is a connectivity issue. There is a scramble for laptop amongst the family members. Yes, those are all challenges. But if individuals are keen to, improve or improvise, I think they should be able to sort it out and sort it out well ahead of their meeting. Is my humble opinion. I take your view. I can. We can again brainstorm with the trio on some of these challenges, and I get back.
Great.
This is Tabassum from Infosys Toastmasters Chennai. I have a doubt in visiting Toastmasters submission. There is a criteria that 75% of club strength should be present in the audience. Is it including the guest or only the members? Okay. And also, what proof needs to be submitted for that?
Okay, it is the members. See, the reason why we wanted 75% of club strength is because of some of the past better experiences which some of the eminent Toastmasters in our district had faced. We do send some of these Toastmasters who have stalwarts in Toastmasters to clubs, particularly to boost membership, right? So while we send them there, what happens is there are only 10 people or 8 people turn up for the meeting, and which eventually ends up as an embarrassment for the visiting Toastmaster and also for the club. At the end of the day, the club does not have a good feeling that they've been let down by the members when there's someone external who's come in for giving an educational session. So again, the requirement over here is the ExCom will have to seek the commitment of, it's not a force that we are going to be, we are not going to be asking people to come by force. Toastmaster should always be a pull effect. It should not be a push effect. So it is the as a ExCom, you'll have to seek the commitment from the club, and again, this is just for 4 instances in the entire calendar year. So if you're gonna be able to get the commitment of your club members and see to it that they are there is 75% of club strength, then the overall education session also would be smooth.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just wanted to know what proof needs to be submitted for that, whether meeting pictures or
meeting pictures
or online attendance will
pictures is required. Online attendance is required. Again, you can see the submission criteria. We would have asked for a meeting agenda, minutes of the meeting, photo of the visiting Toastmaster. Right. So, and obviously 75%, when I say 75% of the club in attendance, you'll also have to be submitting the attendance criteria. And one thing, there is a possibility, and I've also seen in the past where just for out of desperation for getting these points, people fudge numbers. So please remember the first you'll have to ensure that you display integrity while submitting these. It's all about integrity.
Yeah. Can a panel discussion can be considered as a visiting Toastmaster? We had a panelist who attended our meeting, and can we submit it for the visiting Toastmaster?
Okay, so we have not included that over here because what we've said is a visiting Toastmaster should be taking up a role or present an educational session. As long as a panel discussion, if we are going to be considering a panel discussion as an educational session, I think why not? And it can definitely be considered for submission.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
And please to ensure that the visiting person is a Toastmaster and not a non-Toastmaster.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Hello, Sina Sagar here.
Yes, sir, Sagar.
Thank you. Actually, for the club series, Better Speaker series, we have when we will provide some senior Toastmaster will provide some education session in our club, right?
Yeah.
So, is those education sessions has to be evaluated? Do we have to submit the evaluation form for that?
Yes, and it would be better to submit the evaluation sheet as well.
Okay. For successful club series, if we conduct MOT, so that needs we can't evaluate that, right? So just if we
Yeah, you can. What is the harm in evaluating it? You can the person who is going to be presenting it can ask one of the members to evaluate. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, there's got to be some feedback given to the person who is doing the presentation on MOT, right? So that evaluation can be included and submitted.
Okay, Sina, thank you.
Srinath, this is Abrish here. I have two questions. Number one is that what you said for additional goals, the member has to be a Toastmaster at the time, that is April 30th. So in corporate clubs, I file my return in the first term. Say, for example, I filed a level in first term and I left the corporate, so I'm no longer with that club or that corporate. So will they get this particular point from my level? Would that be accommodated? That is question number one.
This is for additional goals, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, it is possible as long as the education award is filed and is not being taken into account for the DCP goal. It is definitely going to be considered.
Okay. Yeah.
But the 60% criteria, which has been mentioned as a prerequisite for the Golden Gavel, there it will not be considered.
Yes. So that's where the additional goals is are there, right?
Yeah, additional goals is see, no. I think
Golden Gavel or club.
I'm talking about the Golden Gavel. See, your question is there is a member who has filed for an educational award and left the organization. That can be considered for additional goals, but that member cannot be included in the 60% unique members who have filed for education award. There it will not be considered. There is a difference, right?
Yeah, that's what. So those 60%, say for example, some 6 or 7 members are out of that range, so I will not be eligible in the track also, correct? Okay, thank you. And for all these meetings, say for example, you said the 4 instances, 1 per quarter, right? But it's actually almost 16 instances. Say for example, team meeting, outdoor meeting, visiting Toastmasters, everything is all are unique and different. I can't club anything, right? So say for example, I can go for an outdoor meeting and a visiting Toastmaster. That's not possible.
Outdoor meeting and visiting Toastmasters should be possible. Yes, that is possible. Why not? That is definitely allowed. Why? I don't see a reason why that cannot be allowed.
No, I'm just asking.
No, it is very much allowed.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Sir,
See,
is Ankit from Brisa?
visiting Toastmaster will not be applicable for joint club meetings, but it would certainly be applicable for a themed club meetings. It can also be used for successful club series, right? So there it can, I see, it is allowed.
Srinath, is this totally judgment call? Sorry, this is Ganga here.
Yes,
is
ma'am.
this going to be a judgment call, or is there a clear demarcation of what's allowed and what's not that's mentioned? Because
if it is not mentioned, ma'am, then I think it is allowed, because we've clearly called out for certain criterias that for, I think if I'm not wrong,
right. There are a few
criteria that we've explicitly called out, right?
Right. So anything
unless
that's
it is
not mentioned in that it's fine. Okay, great. Thank you.
This is Ramesh here.
Yes, Ramesh.
Is there any checklist or tracker available for monitoring this Golden Gavel?
Yes. What is going to happen is the PR team at the start of every month is going to be sending a calendar. So let's say that it is a know your calendar or something like that. So where you will have the submission dates. So you get to know that, okay, on August 31st, I'll have to submit MOT. And, you can be well prepared for that. At the start of every month, you will be getting an email from the PR team.
Sharif here from Chennai Phoenix.
Yes, Sharif.
Additional educational goals, 5 projects by 5 members each is not attributed with the club success plan. It should be apart from members who are given for the club success plan, right?
See, again, there are no hard and fast rules that the names that you put in the club success plan are the ones who go and complete and file for educational awards. See, there can be an instance, you would have envisioned that, let's say, a member would be completing level 1, but it can so happen that the member can leave the organization or relocate to a different location, and your plan may get jeopardized, right? So under those circumstances, you will probably go and put in a backup member and meet your educational goals. So it's not necessary that the names that you put in the CSP are the ones who are going to fetch you that educational award. There can be someone who you've not put in the CSP can also help in getting your education award.
While submitting, if educational awards which are submitted in CSP cannot be submitted for additional educational goals, right?
See, as we are going to know who are the people who have completed various educational awards, because that's going to get that's going to be made available on the Toastmasters dashboard, right? So we know if there are 4 people from a club who have completed level 1, the others are going to be considered for the additional educational goals.
Srinath, one question on
is
the
it possible
60%
by any ways that additional educational goals and its excellence in its execution are attributed with each other? Can we bring it under the same roof? Is it possible?
Excellence in execution is a VP award, right? See, it's very simple. Yes, it goes hand in hand. The expectation for excellence in execution is the VPs help the club in filing 60% of unique 60% of the club overall club strength. If they are filing educational awards, you get the excellence in education. Say, for example, 4 level 1 is completed as per your CSP. Okay, and you go and have 8 more members completing level 1. That is that meets your criteria. Out of that 8, you are going to be submitting only for 5 people to get that additional educational goals 10 points.
Last question. If we are conducting joint meeting and educational session together, is it possible to read both the points, and which club reads the point?
Joint meeting, you cannot take credit of a visiting Toastmaster.
Educational session? How about educational session?
Educational session? No. So the thing is, for a joint meeting, let's not spoil the essence of a joint meeting. joint meeting, yes, you can have an educational session, but I don't think you'd be able to take credit for the successful club series or better speaker series. If that is not mentioned, I can put that as an amendment. But I think for joint meetings, you really cannot take credit of visiting Toastmasters.
Srinath, I have a question on the 60% rule. So is this how it is going to be done? On April 30th, you will download the list of members in my club and see if 60% of these people have submitted an education award. If yes, I get that point.
No, it is no. The base membership is what is going to be considered. In your dashboard, you have something called as a base membership as on 30th June 2020, right? That is what is going to determine your 60%.
Correct. Yeah, that defines my 12. Let's say 20 was my best strength. So that defines my 12. For this 12, to count this 12, I will look at the roster on April 30th.
Right, that's right. Say, assume that you have 30 members on June 30th, 2020. And by the end of the term, you have only 20 members. And you have filed 12 education awards. But 60% of 30 is not 12. So you will not be eligible for this excellence in education.
Understood. One last question. Outdoor meetings and many of these pathways also have, like, say, for example, I'm in strategic relationship. My level 3 requires me to actually attend a gathering and do the networking part of it. So probably I'll not be able to do it for quite some time now. So are there exceptions, and how are we dealing with outdoor meetings?
Outdoor meetings, I really don't see. Outdoor meeting is just only once in the Toastmasters year. And at least I really don't see outdoor meetings happening for the next 4 or 5 months. I'm saying, let's say 4 months. Okay. So if you are really looking at, reaching to that state, say by January, you can plan your outdoor meetings sometime in the second half of the year.
And are there any exceptions? Like for certain pathways, you will not be able to complete a path or something because of the current situation. Like current situation related exceptions are there or not?
See, if you could be more specific, I will be able to.
Yeah, so I'm in strategic relationship. My level 3 actually expects me to attend a gathering and then get introduced and then network and then come and deliver a speech on that. I have to do this after I start the project. So which is like right now I'm starting the project. I cannot quote something from the past. So I cannot do this for quite some time. So that is how the situation is currently. So
see, again, I'm not be the right person to comment on that. In the virtual world, how would people pursuing that path are handling it as something which we may probably have to check. I think you can reach out.
Just interject here.
Sure, ma'am.
Sorry again. I think that the path only requires for networking and reaching out. It doesn't say anything about doing it face to face. So an online event should also count the way the path is structured. It's very much possible for you to network online and reach out to people online. In fact, it probably makes it easier with all the chats and mails and whatnot. So I don't think that should be an issue, but of course, that's my personal opinion. The way the path is structured also reads to me that way. Just my thought on that. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. So let me see if there are any questions on the chat window. I do see.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's Ankit from Breeza VIT.
Yes, Ankit.
So for the joint meetings, there'll be 2 per term, so 4 totally.
No,
so,
it is 4 per year, so which is 1 per quarter.
Yes, sir. So for 2 quarters, like one, if my club hosts the meeting and we can file that, and if we go for another club, so if that club files that for that session, so we get the points automatically, right? So we not
absolutely.
Okay, thank you, sir.
How does this work in case of meetings across districts or?
Okay, see, if you'll have to get again, if let's say, for example, you are having a meeting with, let's say, District 98, with a club in District 98, you may probably choose, if you want to get the credit of the joint club meeting, you may probably inform the club that you would be preparing the minutes of the meeting, you would prepare the agenda, you would be sending it across to them. Or let's say, for example, if they insist, please do ensure that you get the agenda, minutes of the meeting, and they ensure that they have included your club, your district, your division, and so on and so forth in the minutes of the meeting, and send it across to the club which
So
is participated.
is it an issue if both of us file it with our respective districts?
Yeah, see, they are going to be great. I don't know if District 98 has this concept of Golden Gavel. I'm not sure, but since we have it, we are going to be taking credit.
All right, great, thanks.
Hi.
Yes, Joseph, was that?
Yeah. Right now, this week we are going to have a joint meeting with our area.
Area meetings are not considered, Joe.
Okay.
And I think I've clearly mentioned that area meetings will not be considered. Say, for example, if your area has 5 clubs and you are going to have a joint meeting, that's not going to be considered. A maximum of 3 clubs is allowed for a joint meeting.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
Srinath, Vishal here from Phoenix. What is the criteria for filing executive committee meetings?
Okay, so the criteria is going to be very simple. You will have to have an agenda, particularly very important that for any meeting, be it an ExCom meeting, you should have a well-defined agenda. You will have to have the minutes of the meeting, and you'll have to send it across. That's about it.
Is there an acceptable format for this agenda for ExCom like we have for our
Okay,
meetings?
so we've not have a defined agenda. There are clubs who have their own agenda and the MOM. So I think we do have a defined format for the club success plan, the moments of truth, and the moments of truth implementation. But we don't have one for the moments of it is actually good. As a district, it would be good if we have a common pattern for even for all the club meetings. If you have a moments of a kind of a template for putting down the minutes of the meeting, that will be good. But I think we've always been following that each club will have their own format. So
there's no restriction as such here. Just
as long as you have a defined agenda and the minutes of the meeting, we're happy to accept.
Thank you.
Srinath, I have a question. So GG says that one person has to complete Triple Crown, like 3 levels.
Yes.
But is there an award called Triple Crown Award this time? Because that is not mentioned anywhere else in the
Triple Crown. Well, I think Toastmasters in Toastmasters dashboard, if you could see, there is there'll be a separate mention for Triple Crown Award winners. So as a district, no, we are not including it. But I think you get recognized by Toastmasters International if you're going to be filing for 3 educational awards and getting the Triple Crown. I mean, at least that's what I remember seeing last term. I see due recognition being given to individuals who completed Triple Crown.
Okay. There is a DCP tracker in the Toastmaster International website, right? DCP tracker saying that whenever we get a point, like it gets updated frequently, so we know where we stand.
Yeah,
as a club.
That's as a club. That's the dashboard which you are talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have something for a GG? Can we make something for a GG?
GG, yes. We are working on it. We are going to be looking to have a self-serve option for the clubs, but the work has just started. It might take a bit of time for that to be made available online. So till such time, the district, the DCP team would be sending across the Golden Gavel tracker at the end of every month.
Okay, thank you.
But yes, we are going to give a self-serve option for the Club ExCom to check the status, the Golden Gavel tracker status whenever they want.
Can I have one last question? Though it is not really district related, it is pathways related and TI related. The Triple Crown Award, if a member completes 2 awards or rather files 2 awards from one path and a 3rd award from another, does it still count for Triple Crown? I couldn't really trace that.
Technically, yes, and it should get counted.
Okay. I really couldn't trace that info anywhere.
But again, I'm no expert in that, but technically, I see that I really don't see a reason why that should not be considered.
Okay, okay. I will also check it out. Thanks.
All right. So, is there any questions that I see on the chat window?
There's one question on DCP 0.516. So that is either a level 4 or a level 5 or, right? That's an or.
It is or. It is or.
Oh, thank you.
Sir, if someone is filing for a Triple Crown Award, it's one of the criteria now for Golden Gavel, right? So if they do it and we are filing that for level 3, level 4, level 5, can we use that same, that Toastmaster also for a DCP goal, like they completed level 5?
Yeah, absolutely. There are no hard and fast rules that you should not be considering them. Certainly, that can be considered. You won at one, and you get the credit of the DCP points, and at the same time, you can leverage the same individual and take credit of claiming that you've got a Triple Crown award winner in your club.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, so we'll take one last question. Any master link that has all docs for District 120, Gurucharan? Yes, that's going to be available in the District 120 website. So please do. It'll be available under the awards segment. Please do keep checking as to when the link is going to be available, or your AD should be able to let you know when that's going to be available. But I'm sure that's going to be made available very soon. All right. So if there are no further questions, we are at 8:20.
Srinath, I have one question.
Sure.
This is Subhashini from CG Chennai Toastmasters Club. Can we file a visiting Toastmasters meeting for a speechathon that we conduct, where we don't have a TTM session, but we have a series of speeches?
Yeah, again, yes, it is very much possible. You can definitely take credit of it, but just do have a look at the submission criteria and ensure that you submit all the required proof, so that your club gets that credit of the visiting Toastmasters.
One more on the same question. If a TT session is not there, still the meeting is considered a club meeting and we can go ahead with everything else, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, there are instances where when you have a speechathon where you only have prepared speeches and followed by evaluation, the club has the discretion of skipping out table topics. But again, these are all exceptional scenarios, but an ideal Toastmasters meeting is something where you have table topics as well. But yes, you can consider that.
And if we are going to file a themed meeting for visiting Toastmasters as well,
yeah, possible.
That's possible, right?
Yes.
So we have to just send out 2 emails to the PQD team, right?
True. Yes. There are 2. Yes, please remember, it is two separate emails with the appropriate subject.
Got it. Yeah, thanks.
All right, a quick time check. It is 8:30. If at all there are any further questions, please don't hesitate to call me, WhatsApp me, or email me. I'll be more than happy to revert to your queries. Thank you very much. Thanks for turning up in large numbers on a weekday. Once again, all the very best in pursuing your Golden Gavel dreams. But please do ensure that quality is of utmost importance. To ensure that you exhibit quality meetings and have the membership engagement, so that all these awards and rewards would automatically follow. You don't really need to pursue it diligently. All right, back to you, Lloyd.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sri. Right, so I request members, please take 1 to 2 minutes quickly. We have spent enough time with a lot of questions. I pinged that link as well in the chat. Could you please submit your feedback about this session? This will help us, to plan our next activities in much better way. I'm pinging again. Please take 1 minute to submit your feedback. Right, I'll give 1 minute. Let's quickly fill this survey. In the meantime, let me show what is our next event that is coming up. Next, the big event that's coming up on this Sunday. As just now, Sri told a lot of things about membership retention, membership building. This is the session which you have to look out for. So there's a session organized by, we are working with our club growth director team, mastering club campaigns. So you will know how to run a campaign, how to improve your membership strategies, how to get the old members back, and how you can strategize your Smedley Award campaign. Please do watch out for this upcoming Sunday event. Okay, I hope you're going to fill the survey. I'll give few more seconds to fill the survey. Please do submit, give the feedback about this session to us. Yeah, we'll do a few more seconds and okay, thank you very much. So we would like to thank our DCP Chair Srinath for taking out time and patiently answering all the questions which are asked by our members. There are a couple of questions which were repetitive, but still he took time and answered all the questions. So I thank you each and everyone for joining this session on a weekdays. We'll see you in the next TLI event. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.